Good afternoon. Welcome back to the Florida Weather Watch. My name is Daniel, and I'm here to deliver to you the upcoming forecast and upcoming weather for the week of February 19th to February 26th, this President's Day week. Before I continue, please make sure that you hit that subscribe button below, as that will help me greatly grow this channel, as well as hit that like button. That like button will tell me whether or not my forecasts are good and easy to understand. And very importantly, please make sure you share this channel and this video out with as many friends and family that you have in the state of Florida, as I am very much dedicated to growing this channel or growing this community into the future. So what I'm going to be starting out with in my future videos, especially for my weekly updates, is I'm going to show you the headlines, some bite-sized headlines for the week ahead, before I actually get into the actual forecasting piece. So for the upcoming week ahead, Floridians can rejoice that we will be having some fantastic weather across the state of Florida, as sunshine will return across the state after dealing with a few days of cloudiness and showers and even some thunderstorms over the past few days across the state. And the heat and humidity will be returning in full force, as we will be feeling like early summer in much of the state of Florida as the week builds on, uh, and we get further into next weekend. So, before I continue, please make sure that if you have any comments, you have any questions, or if you have any forecast requests, please leave them in the comment section below, as I will try to do my best to help educate you on everything weather when it comes to the state of Florida. So now we're going to transition into the actual forecasting piece itself. We're going to be going ahead and looking at what is currently going on across the area, as I always go over what's currently going on and what's going to happen in the future. So right now what you're seeing is the visible satellite imagery across the entire southwest Atlantic here. That includes the state of Florida here, the southeast United States here. Um, and you're going to notice it's very quiet. Uh, we have this kind of like dying frontal boundary that's draped across the Atlantic here. This is what caused a lot of the cloudiness and the showers and storms that we had across the area over the past few days. Um, but that's kind of fizzling out. As you can see, it's not moving. It's pretty much stalled. And what we're going to notice is that behind this, and you're going to notice this very well here, is we're going to see that high pressure um, is going to be building into the Atlantic right here. You're going to notice that there's a high here. It spins clockwise in the northern hemisphere. So you're going to notice right here that the flow from this is coming down this way. And what this generally does is it provides clear weather for our area, and it's also going to be starting to cause the heat and humidity to return back into South Florida. As you notice here, these clouds are starting to move back in this direction here. So you'll notice that there's very dry air. There's nothing in the way of showers and thunderstorms in this entire area right here. It is very dry air right here, and all that dry air is going to be circulating into the state of Florida in the coming week. So let me show that that'll be better shown in the models, as you see. Uh, and one other feature to note is you'll notice that these clouds across the top here are screaming across this way. That is the jet stream and the flow of the weather across the northern hemisphere right now, across the southeast. So that's going to keep all the storm systems to the north, and it's going to keep us in the clear down here. So now that I've gone over and shown you what exactly is going on in the atmosphere right now with high pressure that's built in across the Atlantic, dry air that's really going to be coming into full force into Florida, let's check that out in the models right now. Um, and I'm going to start out with the forecast models of the precipitation. I'm going to show you a little bit of a different view than my past videos. I'm going to show you the Southwest Atlantic view because this is going to show you a better idea of this high pressure here. Okay, so this high pressure is going to be right here. So this is where the high pressure is over the Atlantic right now. And you can see these lines here. These lines, generally speaking, are showing the flow out of the area of high pressure here. Generally speaking, this is typically the flow around high pressure. And you're going to notice that it's not really going to change all that much. Actually, the high is probably going to build in a little bit over our area as the week goes on. So I'm going to first start out with the showing you the dry conditions, and then I'm going to show you the temperatures. The temperatures are what's going to really boggle the mind. But as I step this out through time, remember, I'm not going to go beyond 144 hours because that's 7 days out. And at that point, we get into the la la land of weather forecasting. So when I step this out through time, what you're going to notice is, again, you're going to notice like there's not much in the way of precipitation around. There's some moisture that's over the Atlantic, but that's because of the moisture that comes off the ocean and can create some showers over the area. But you're going to notice that this flow right here over the top is very flat. And when we get this very flat flow, that's where we usually get our long periods of dry weather. And you're going to notice as I step it out through Tuesday, this is Tuesday afternoon. I step it out through Wednesday, go into Wednesday, go into Thursday. Actually, back here, going into Wednesday here, here's high pressure, that little H right there, building in even further into the Atlantic here, building further south, and just high pressure continues. And what that's going to do is it's going to bring some very warm air from the south, actually. It's going to bring in some very warm air from the south here, and it's going to be, oh, wow, I did not want that large of a tool. Okay, let me restart this part here. Okay, what you're going to notice is it's going to bring in some very warm air coming from the tropics here. You can kind of see these outlines here and how it kind of flows around into the from the Gulf. And actually, this moisture is going to feed into a storm system that will build later in the week into the southeast United States and possibly bringing some severe weather to the southeast. But here in Florida, you see there's absolutely nothing in the way of showers or thunderstorm activity. And that's just going to continue as this week goes along here. You're going to notice, like, again, it's nothing, nothing in the way of showers and thunderstorms across the area the entire week. Um, Very dry, very humid conditions, heat building up. This is through Friday. High pressure now ridges across the entire area here. You're going to notice that the high pressure ridge now is expanding across the entire state of Florida here. Wow, great drawing. It's going to be expanding across the entire state of Florida here with this black line here. And that means dry air is just going to be in full force. And it's just going to lead to some very warm temperatures, some humidity building in the coming days. There's not even a drop of rain for the state of Florida here for the entire week. It's amazing. So pretty much, if you have plans for the beach this upcoming week, go for it. Even if I step it through time here, all the way into next weekend, there is no rain to speak of across the state of Florida here. It remains dry. And you're going to see this even further when I show you the temperatures here, where you're going to notice, watch this area of the Atlantic here, watch down south here. And remember, the timestamps are at the top here. This is for Sunday morning at 7 a.m. You're going to notice that the heat and humidity already is building across South Florida as we get into the low 80s across much of the South and Central Florida this afternoon. We step it out through time even further. It still remains kind of cool in the mornings across northern Florida. That's very typical of mid-February, where you still hang on to the cool air from the north. But as you step it out through time here, look at that heat building again Monday afternoon, getting into the low to mid 80s across much of the area. 70s built back into northern Florida, and then we continue through time here. There's the 80s rising up into Gainesville now, up into Jacksonville. You're going to see some areas in inland South Florida here, 88 degrees. So we could have some areas that could touch 90, get close to 90. Um, and then the heat and humidity really builds in on Wednesday. Look at the temperatures on Wednesday. You're going to see 87 degrees in Jacksonville, 84 in Gainesville, 89 in Orlando. So getting near 90 degrees in Orlando. The only reason why Miami and West Palm Beach tend to be a little bit cooler than the rest of the state is because remember, the flow is coming off the ocean and going to be coming up from the south. So that's going to cause the temperatures here to be a little bit cooler during the afternoon because of that sea breeze cooling things down. But everything inland is going to be very hot. 89 degrees in late February in Orlando is quite warm. It's very hot. And that's why when I started out this forecast with the headlines, I said, get ready for the heat because look at this. It gets even hotter across the state of Florida on Thursday. We get 90 degrees in Orlando on Thursday. It's 87 in Jacksonville on Thursday, 84 even up in Tallahassee. So these temperatures are really going to build across, especially the interior portions of Florida. Um, and again, because of the easterly flow coming in from high pressure from the Atlantic, it's going to keep the beaches cooler, like the coastal areas you see here, Daytona 79, Port St. Lucie 82, Palm Beach 79, Miami 80 at 4 o'clock on Thursday. That's because the breeze coming in from the ocean, but everything else that's inland is going to be very hot. And then we get into Friday, that's Friday morning areas. And then bada boom, back to the heat and humidity again Friday. 86 in Gainesville, 89, almost 90 degrees here in Jacksonville, 82 in Tallahassee, 90 again in Orlando, 84 down in Cape Coral. Some areas inland, 91 degrees here up in northern Collier County. So you're going to see some very intense heat building across Florida in the coming week. There's not much relief on the way. The only areas that stay kind of cool is the panhandle of Florida here. That's because they're still going to have the bottom part. They're going to still see the um, effects of northerly flow behind some of the departing systems that come across Georgia and Alabama. But everywhere else in the state of Florida, get ready for that heat to build, that humidity to build this week. So again, to close out, I'm going to go back to these headlines here. That the sunshine will be returning across the state of Florida this week. No rain to really speak of for the entire week ahead after we get through today. Getting much warmer, getting back into the 90s in some areas by the end of the week. And please make sure that you hit that subscribe button. Please make sure you like this video, share it with all your friends and family in the state of Florida. Um, and I wanted to close out the video with two things. Number one, I wanted to give a shout out to my 8th period meteorology class. Thank you to my 8th period meteorology class for giving me some feedback on how to improve my videos for the future. I'm still working on making some more improvements down the road, so I appreciate their feedback as well. Um, and lastly, to close out every video, as my great and late cross country coach said and taught me all the time, there will be weather, whether or not. But whatever the weather is, I'll be here, whether or not. Have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy your President's Day weekend. And I look forward to seeing you again very soon.